Wonderful. Seeing a quorum of counselors in attendance, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Time is 5 o'clock. Start with attendance. Start over here with
Ruby Powell present.
Rowan East present.
William Coates present.
Patrick Cervera, present.
Sky Childress present.
Maria Garcia present.
Stephanie Calero present.
Hey, Barry present.
Harris Holt present.
Matthew Rathbun, present.
Wonderful. I will note Emma Fox is absent. Stephen's present in person. Our wonderful executive assistant is present in person. Is there anyone online? Okay, no one's online. Wonderful. We'll move on. To the reading of the mission statement. Do I have a volunteer? I got Patrick.
Support the evolving needs of the MSU Denver students by advocating in their best interest to enhance the university experience and opportunities.
Onto approval of the agenda and previous meeting minutes. We have the agenda pulled up. Now we have the minutes pulled up. Has everyone had a chance to review over the minutes? Wonderful. Do we have a motion for the floor? Patrick?
I motion to approve last week's meeting minutes.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Cy. Is there any opposition? Wonderful. Unanimously, we've approved the meeting minutes from November 13th. On to approval of the agenda.
Not November, but that's okay.
Sorry, what was that?
Because that was meeting minutes. You said the meeting minutes from today. Just unimportant, but
Correction.
I will restate for the record, is there anyone in opposition to approving the meeting minutes from the previous meeting, the most recent meeting? Okay, I apologize for my misspeaking. Onto the agenda. Is there any opposition to the approval of the agenda today or any modifications? Wonderful. If someone would motion for it. Patrick,
I motion to approve the agenda.
is there a second? Wonderful. I see no opposition. Moving on. To public comment, we are 2 minutes early. If someone walks in between 5:05 and 5:20, we will pause our meeting and go back to it. Now we'll move on to announcements and updates. On to staff members. So at the current moment, we have 2 staff members in attendance, or 3 staff members in attendance. I will pass it off to you all to give your updates.
Yeah, so really not much. Something I do want to highlight, I'm not sure if all of you saw my message, but today there was supposed to be an information session held for the delegate program. I was the only person in the office and someone did show up. So just making sure that if we are going to go ahead and schedule events in office or not, that we actually have people there to staff it. I wasn't even on planning coming in this morning, but you know, thank gosh, someone was there. And obviously housekeeping reminders, once again, please just make sure, especially on that back table, that we're not just like leaving stuff out. But that is it for me.
Oh, Steven?
Good evening, TSAC. It's great to see you all. I hope you all have had a fabulous week. I have a few items for you all to know. Hopefully you all saw Teams as well. Vice President Simpkins was supposed to attend today. There was a scheduling mix-up on their calendar. They're not coming today. The plan is for them to come on December 4th. Any concerns about that? Okay, great. Another update I have for you all. There is a town hall occurring for all students. It's a request to invite any and all students, and they specifically requested to invite TSAC. It's called the Ask Us Anything Town Hall. It's oriented for students to ask senior leaders anything about MSU Denver. The date of this is Tuesday, November 18th from 2 to 3 p.m. in the Aerospace and Engineering Science. There is an open forum space on the ground level, I would say, of the building. So that's where this is going to take place. Again, this is the Ask Us Anything Town Hall. Takes place Tuesday, November 18th from 2 to 3 p.m. in the AES building on the ground level at that open forum space. If you've ever been there, there are multiple levels and stairs and seating there. I encourage TSAC to absolutely come and participate in that. There is an RSVP. So what I will do is I'll forward you all this RSVP so you all have it, and you can attend. Last thing that I have to update. I know last week I provided an update regarding winter training for TSAC. And you may have saw that I canceled those invitations. And that was in consult with quite a few counselors, specifically the ad hoc committee that was formed at the beginning of the year for training and onboarding purposes. The reason for that was, one, I want to try to have as many TSAC counselors as possible. We also want to incorporate the delegates into that process as well. So in collaboration with them, we decided on essentially a 1.5 day schedule for training. The first day would be Friday, January 9th. It would take place from around 1:30 to say 5:30-ish. No meal would be provided in the first part of the day. We would provide a TSAC dinner on that day. The purpose of that day would be mainly to train and onboard delegates. That would be the first half. Then you all as counselors would come and participate in the second half. We'd probably do a mock meeting. We may even call a regular meeting for about a half hour just to cover anything that we needed to do to start the year. And then we would provide dinner for everyone. And so that would be day one. That's again, Friday, January 9th from estimate about 1:30 to 5:30-ish, okay? Then the second day would be more of a fuller day. We would have that day take place on Saturday, January 10th. Yes, it is a Saturday, I know. We would go from about 10 a.m. to give or take 4 p.m. On that day, we'd provide breakfast for everyone. We'd provide some snacks. We'd provide snacks on the first day as well. And then we would provide lunch. Breakfast would probably be light, maybe bagels, maybe just some fruit. And then lunch, we would do a little bit heavier. And then that is when we would go into more of the content. I don't have with me some of the content aspects of it, but I was asked, and I always want to do this to make sure that there is no general opposition to that. And by opposition, I mean, is there an issue with things happening? Are you able to, I know, Sai, you already said that you are out of the country during that time. Is there any opposition to that in terms of you not adjust your schedule? And again, I'm trying to give you all at least 2 months in advance to make any changes. Okay. With that, I yield my time to Dr. Burrell.
Hi, good evening, everyone. The only update I really have is around some of the additional support we've been providing to students who may have lost their SNAP benefits. And I know the government shutdown is ending. However, I met with Taylor yesterday and we were talking about just what we're doing, even though, you know, the government is supposedly reopening. We wanted to make sure that if students are still in need, there are $50 gift cards for food that are being provided to students who can provide the documentation that they are SNAP eligible. So they are limited because funds are limited, but they were offered last week. They will be offered this week. And if there are still students in need, we just want them to reach out to the Dean of Students email and we can still offer them support for that. So just wanted to elevate that. And then the other thing, just around, I know there have been a lot of I guess, conversations and interest in supporting Rowdy's Corner. And the best thing to do is to probably elevate and lift up the donation. There are donation locations around campus at different satellite satellite places across campus, as well as there are bins throughout campus that are collecting food items for Rowdy's Corner. Taylor said that's the best way that we can help right now. So just wanted to offer that. Giving or offering funding directly to Rowdy's Corner right now is probably not the best option. So if those are a couple of different ways that folks can contribute. I know there's been a lot of interest and just a lot of conversation around that. So those are just two things that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned to you all as we're going through this transition in our government. I think that's it. Thank you.
Wonderful. I'll see hands if they have any questions for Dr. Burrell. I'm going to go first. I want to ask on that gift cards. They said there are $50 gift cards available to students who can provide their eligibility for SNAP. If we have
Mhm.
students that are eligible for SNAP, if they would be eligible for SNAP because of their income and circumstances, however, they're not U.S. citizens, and so because of that, they're not eligible for SNAP. Are those individuals still able to qualify for that $50 gift card through MSU?
Great question.
That's a really great question, Sky. And I don't know that I have the answer to that, but I would have that student reach out the same way to the Dean of Students office and just ask that question. I do think, yeah, I would have them go ahead and do that. I don't know, but that's a really good question. I would still have them reach out. We're going to do everything we can to support students, but there might be some information things that need to be shared that we just would want to probably let the student know that, yeah, making sure
Absolutely.
that they're aware. So yeah, I would just have them reach out to the Dean of Students email and see what the options are.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you. And then Stephen?
Uh-huh.
This is just a follow-up to some of the things Dr. Barone said. If you all are in need of any food or have any students that are in need of any food, and let's say they can't get to Rowdy's or anything, I know that Kraft dropped off quite a few boxes of macaroni and cheese in the TSAC office. They dropped off a pallet today in CMEI. I don't know if we have figured out what we're going to do with that kind of macaroni and cheese that looked like that amount. So if you know of anyone, they're all stacked in my office and will most likely be moved tomorrow out of my office into another area of CMEI, but we do have that as well. So just as an FYI.
Stephen, if there are community organizations that are in need of food right now to distribute to folks, is that something that we could get some of that macaroni and cheese if we have a lot of excess too?
Yeah, I would say yes, and I want to focus on students first, and then depending on if we have any left over, yeah, I think so.
Keegan?
I guess one question in the vein of providing resources to students. I did have a couple of students yesterday while I was tabling ask me about finding like winter gear and winter coats. Where should we point people if they're looking for stuff like that?
The ASCP has a free store.
Yep.
Also a list of resources for clothing too.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also for all resources, Student Care Center, they can point you to things too. Okay, I'm going to close staff members and we're going to move on to standing committees. I'll see hands for standing committees, folks. Go to Matt.
I do actually have a little bit of an update. There's going to be some movement around in accountability. Cyrus right here is stepping down to a more limited capacity, so he's not going to be in like the day-to-day stuff. We'll probably still be taking on some of the stuff with the safety training, but gonna step away from his role, and I'm going to bring Will into the mix, which I'm hoping with the three of us, me, Will, and Emma, partially with better scheduling together, can get some of our guidelines procedures off the ground. Then I'm also going to be helping support Sai here in one of his other passion projects that he wants to do that I think is going to be a really great idea.
exciting. I'll go
next Tuesday.
Wonderful. I'll go next for sustainability. So next week is the Area Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. It is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Be there. At the current moment, there's not necessarily an open request for volunteers. They have lots of people working with them, but they do request that students go to it and enjoy the programming. There'll be free food. There'll be some sort of snack at 10 a.m. and then some sort of lunch each day at noon as well, and lots of resources. We also, on next Wednesday, we have an immigration know your rights training happening. Feel free to be there. It's from 2:30 to 5. Only current update. More standing committee folks. Irby.
We're when the committee is doing unallocated fund, we are planning on doing a reallocation for an unallocated fund. So we have decided to move the unallocated fund, as if nothing is decided, it's just a discussion, to delegates program. Can you please pull up the spreadsheet, please, Keith? We have around 9,697.60 cents for unallocated fund. After taking out for delegates program as decided in the resolution, 100. So we would be remaining with number approximately around 5,000, if I can do the calculation here.
72.9.
No. So we had used one of the money, 1,618 for summer.
Ah,
That's it.
again, you think you can minimize that?
And then I have a question for you, Irby. The trainings for this winter that Stephen was talking about buying food.
Hmm.
Do we know where that's coming from yet, or is that a later discussion?
That is going to be an allocated fund that we are going to use for the leadership development for winter retreat, and the rest would be in the delegate program as of what is decided for now.
Thank you.
And the further discussion would be in budget committee next Tuesday on 18th.
Anything else from budget?
And I would like to reiterate that we're doing amendment guidelines for budget. So I would ask all the Senate committee's members to have the comments on the amendment as we can have discussion together for those sections 8 and 9.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
PR, do you have anything?
Yes, I do. Thank you. So, we are planning for food for finals. It is gonna be on December 8th and the 9th. We should have sent the book. I think I have a confirmation from that, but I might be wrong. To AHEC, which is gonna be the multicultural lounge. We're also gonna have the catering from Los Molinos, only the breakfast burritos, just to keep it inside of the AHEC vendors. So we're just gonna do breakfast burritos from them. But we also are planning to create our own little yogurt pamphlet tray, so students are able to like make their own yogurt, pick the fruits, berries, granola, etc. We also want to do like a separate station for waffles. So we got on like waffle station, like syrup, chocolate chips, stuff like that. That does reduce the price from last year. Last year, outside catering is super expensive. But we also do plan to do goodie bags, but I think I am getting informed right now that we are doing something else from the goodie bags. Or is it the same one that we made on
It's
the?
the same one. It's the same one.
Okay, so it's the same one. Okay, I got confused by the message. But adding everything in total would be about like 3,100. You will see like a resolution going in details on what we're basically gonna do for food for finals. But Steffi will also send out a when to meet link to see who is available during those times. And Resource Monday, obviously we still continue doing Resource Monday. If you guys have any suggestions on that, which source and resource we want to post, y'all more welcome to send it to us and we will create it on for Mondays. We also talked about Welcome Week. Stephen was nice enough to join us in our meeting to like see what it was about. So on Thursday, the 22nd, which is from basically the first week of school, and we want to do like it's a grab and go station, but like mostly in the morning to give out like coffee, donuts, hot chocolate tea. we're working on that too. But we also were talking about doing a service project the second week after that, not doing like 2 events during that week, because I think we have noticed that's a lot for us, just to like balance that out. We're still working on it, maybe like doing like those tie blankets and reach out to different organizations on campus to see if they want to like collab and bring the communities within it. And then that is going to be working with Alicia from CMEI. We need to have things planned out from January 18th to the 19th. And that's all I have from PR, unless if the vice chairs have something else to say.
Vision board. We have something planned up for our student government. We're deciding on having an internal event to build engagement between us, the council members. It's like vision board event. We can have a white elephant or something like vision board. We can have a like get together. If you have any recommendations, if we can meet up in the cafe, so PR would be funding for that event. And that's completely internal, only for TSAC council.
Just to correct you, I don't think we have completely said PR is going to be funding it.
Okay.
That's just more of an internal event.
Yeah.
We could continue talking about it.
Yeah, we can continue about that.
So I want to ask Matt, if we're doing an event that's not necessarily geared toward the public or toward our student body, do you all be comfortable with PR paying for it, or do you think that should be a like leadership development area of thing?
I think it kind of depends on what goes with it. If it's just the white elephant, then maybe not.
Okay, and what time did you want this?
Business.
Like, not what time, but how far away for business?
Default proper opinion on that one too.
Yeah.
We're thinking like in the end of the semester, just something us, just that we have like more building
Outside.
time.
Okay, so I want to bring it back. I think this will be near the end of the semester. Is that what I'm hearing? And that will hopefully be after we've created the leadership development fund, and we can sort of have that conversation then. So thank you all for considering this, because I really like this idea. Okay, onto the chairs. Did you have anything?
We just have our meeting well, right now we're discussing and making sure that we're rallying properly our chairship procedures and guidelines. I'm pretty sure it is accessible on the SharePoint, so, right? If I recall. So if there's anyone, especially because it's a pretty hefty document, if there's anyone that's really interested, because a lot of this is more of how we're going to be organizing our meetings, how we're going to be voting, how we're going to be doing our motions. A lot more of an exploratory, not really exploratory, but really setting the tone of how our meetings are going to be and trying to elaborate on clarifying things and making sure that we understand the processes for not just for us, but for future chairships in the future. So, I strongly suggest if you guys could just probably look at it, leave your comment. Us as the authors, we're planning to get together and finish that up hopefully soon. We haven't got a set date, but that is our biggest concern. And next week, sorry, going to be attending the president's cabinet. So yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, we'll do that and get back to you. Okay, on to advisory committees. The hands from advisory committee reps. Go to Faye.
Just a couple small things from Faculty Senate. There's a couple things coming through that passed this week. So there's a modification to the course load policy, changing it so that winter and Maymester intersessions are counted separately for course load maximums, but not for financial aid. What the word just left me? Financial aid considerations. So if you take 6 winter classes or 6 winter credits and 6 regular semester credits, that still counts as a full-time status. But you could now take 6 winter credits and then take 15 or 18 main semester credits. So essentially just removing a roadblock. There's also a change to military leave procedures and internship course registration policies. If you want to know more about those specifically, they're both fairly small changes to what those things do. And then that is all from Faculty Senate. I don't believe I have anything from Staff Senate, so that's all. Oh, Integrated Planning Group meets tomorrow, so we'll have updates soon.
I have a quick question for you, Faye.
Mhm.
You said
more details get with you after the meeting, or do you have more details?
I have more details now, but I just wanted to respect time.
Then, no, if you don't mind, we can talk offline about that.
I have a question for you, so, and I'm one of the timekeepers, so if you want to talk about it, you're fine. We're good on time. Can I ask you, the winter semester versus spring semester side of things there? You said it won't, the course, like essentially, the course load, so like how many credits they're allowed to take in one semester, that's the number changing?
Yeah.
Is that also changing for faculty, like the amount of classes they're required to take, or do winter classes still count toward their spring total, or not teach for their spring?
Looking right
total?
now, I believe it still counts towards their spring total.
Okay,
But I'm looking right now to double check that I'm not lying.
okay.
Yes, it looks like it's only affecting the
Okay.
student-based side.
That's what I wanted to know. Okay. Other advisory committee folks?
Yeah, just for Tivoli Reimagine Steering Committee, the next meeting is going to be for Wednesday, December 9th, 10 a.m. December 3rd, sorry, December 3rd and 10 a.m. And that's our next. Till then, no updates.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna go on to UPAC. So UPAC met, I think it was Tuesday, or it might have been last week on Tuesday. I forget. And we have a new proposed data governance policy that came through for a first read through UPAC. There's now public comment open on it. Yeah, they have added language around AI use and data creation. It's the only really thing that I took away from it. Other than that, if you're interested in it, read it, give public comment. We're sunsetting some unused policies. I'm not going to name them for you. They're sort of boring. If you are interested in it, it'll be in my written update. And then the conflict of interest and commitment policy that I talked to you all about last month, and the social media policy that I talked about last month has had a lot of comments now that it's in President's Cabinet, and it is being delayed for a final vote in President's Cabinet to January instead of November. So they're giving more time for it. So if you have any comments on it, if anyone you're representing or talking to has any comments on this, please have them get it to the president's office ASAP. If you want to see and read any of these policies, I have a written update. It'll be in the minutes. Thank you. Advisory committee reps. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to open floor. Go to Will.
Not open floor, just a quick question for an advisory committee.
Yeah, go ahead, Will.
I'm a little curious about where we left off with student travel and specifically like the funding situation. I don't know if you know any more updates or.
Currently, I don't have any updates, but we have approached to the faculty and the other departments for a survey that how this student travel program helps the students. So we took the survey and collected the metrics, but we don't have any, I don't have any more information to this, but I can talk to Dave about it and get back to you.
Awesome, thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. We're still in open floor if anyone has any updates or announcements or questions. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to new business. New business, first item is going to be a request for a counselor to attend the academic policy committee, faculty senate for this spring semester because of current faculty senate reps non-availability. Okay.
Yeah, basically just what it says on the tin. If you want to know more about what that specific subcommittee of faculty senate does, please let me know. But yeah, just asking for somebody to either self-nominate or we can nominate somebody as well.
Okay, I am going to motion that we have an open nominations period for a co-representative to faculty senate, and you guys can figure out how you want to split up your committees stuff.
Yeah, I was like, I'll second that.
Okay, is there any opposition to opening the nominations period? Okay, I will nominate Emma, who is not here to accept her nomination. And I want to post to the council that if she is approved as that co-representative, that the council could vote on it, but pending her approval of Should be a point. Anyway, I'll put that out there. I'll see hands for nominations.
What days?
This is every Wednesday at 8 a.m. The virtual meeting.
Big commitment.
Okay, seeing none, I had one nomination. I am going to post to the council that we approve Emma as this co-representative pending her acceptance of the nomination. Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Is there any opposition? Wonderful. Congratulations to Emma. I also just want to, for the record, note that I accidentally skipped old business. And so we're going to go back to old business. I apologize. I wish someone would have let me know. Going back to old business to create the delegate ad hoc committee as per the delegates resolution passed 2 weeks ago with Matt, limited to 15 minutes.
Oh, based on the resolution that passed, SGTSAC will establish an ad hoc committee for looks like we need 3 people for this committee and no more than 3 people.
Patrick.
But I'll let you proceed with that.
Okay. I just, right now, we're just on discussion. There's been no motion made. So I'm just letting Matt talk and then, okay, we'll go to Patrick.
So, before I do any motions, I did want to say, this is going to be an important process, I feel like, especially if you have take consideration of not just your availability, but also being able to make that time for these delegates, making sure that they feel respected when they take their time to come in here, making sure we're organizing things properly, and also being very supportive in this leadership role. So I motion for nomination.
Second that.
Okay, I will hear that as a motion to open nominations period. Is there any opposition? Wonderful. That's approved. I do want to note, I want to find a name for this committee before we proceed. So ad hoc committee, is it delegate interview ad hoc committee, or what are we going to have the official name of this committee be?
The delegate committee.
Because I believe the resolution is
Selection.
just really to interview and select.
Yeah.
It really interviewing and then we select as the council. So
Delegation interview.
I don't think it's necessarily like an oversight. I think that's taken out. So I guess I would ask.
For interviews.
Okay. Is there any opposition if we name it the delegate interview ad hoc committee? Okay, seems popular. We're gonna go with it. I'll hear nominations to the delegate interview ad hoc committee. Patrick.
I'll nominate myself, William Coates, Maria Garcia.
Okay, Will, do you accept your nomination?
I do.
Maria Garcia, do you accept your nomination?
I leave it pending.
You can pen. Rowan, hand.
I'd like to nominate myself for the
Mhm.
review ad hoc committee.
Okay. Susanna.
I would also like to nominate myself
Ooh.
since, not gonna lie, I've been working on it for a while. So I think I should nominate myself.
Competition. Love it. More hands? Okay, Maria, I would love to hear a final answer.
Since there's interest, I will declare.
Okay, Maria declines. So I see 4 candidates for 3 positions. I will close the nominations period now, and then I will hear motions on how we should proceed to vote and decide. I saw Matt's hand first.
For the resolution, we treat this like any other chairship election.
Point of clarification is that we've done chairship elections differently. Sometimes we've done ranked choice, sometimes we've just approved them because there's only one candidate. I think it's still vague, and that's why I'm asking for a motion on how to proceed.
All right.
I see Will.
I motion that we do our, speeches here right now.
Okay.
And just go into the voting process, online, on Teams, and then determine the 3 chairs that way.
Okay. When you say vote on Teams, do you want
Like a small poll.
like a 4 option poll where
Yeah.
you can select one option each, and then whoever the top 3 contenders?
Put their names.
Or I would suggest select 3 people
Okay.
only.
I don't think Teams has the ability to do that. Could you go to the same stv.org or whatever we use and prepare that? If Stephen could help, that'd be wonderful. In the meantime, we're gonna move on because we have 11 minutes left on this business item. I'm gonna say there is a minute and a half for each person.
Oh, is it?
Is there any opposition for that from the council?
Want
I think.
to clarify, has my motion been seconded?
Is that a motion?
Yeah.
Motion to vote.
Is there a second?
I second the
Is
motion.
there any opposition? Okay, that's how we're gonna proceed. Wonderful. I'm gonna give each of you a minute and a half. Is there any opposition to that? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on. Let me get the timer. I already have my timer used. Apologies. Okay. I'll start here and go that way. Patrick.
Needless to say, this would be my second time interviewing those who were delegates last year. That's how we got our first introduction together. So, this is something that I was pretty passionate about. I was there and creating the first delegates resolution. I was there in the process of the interviews. And likewise for this year, doing the delegates. So, I have a pretty keen eye for looking for really in a compassionate and empathetic way, looking at strategies we want. I know I'm pretty familiar with everyone here and seeing what goals we're looking for, what individuals, what styles of leadership that we like to do. And then more importantly, the opportunities we're offering for individuals and making sure that that is gone through, make sure individuals are well respected. Once I put my commitment, my word on it, that's it. So, I'll gratefully take this position with high seriousness. So that makes sense. I'll be very serious about it. Yeah, that's why I think I'm pretty qualified. I already have experience. I'm pretty excited for it.
Susanna?
Hi. I want to say that I'm very interested in doing the interview process. Not only that, because I have done interviews in the past within my sorority, so I know how interview processes do work. I also want to gain the experience to do it more of a different environment. I also want to bring this opportunity for the delegates that they have the opportunity to work with us in the council, and continuing with that I am been working with Stephen with the winter retreat because that's how highly interested I am in. But that's all I could say. Thank you.
Well,
Good evening, TSAC. I want to run for this position because I have experience being on this ad hoc committee before. And thankfully, we have two amazing now counselors that were delegates from that process. Three, excuse me. Four. Excuse me. I won't win the vote because it's but I think it was a success the first time around, 4 out of 12. That's a good amount, right? I would say. And the first time around really vetted the delegates or the interviewees that were coming through. We know, making those choices are difficult at times, but I'm willing to make those choices. And I think I can do that again this year and make sure that bless you, thrives this year with the program. Thank you.
going to Rowan.
Hi, everyone. So I want to be on this committee because I think of myself as a very open-minded person. I think there's a very wide variety of experiences and qualities that can make someone a good leader, not only from a traditional academic and professional background, but from many areas of life as well. And I think that it's important to have an interview process that accounts for that and respects that and doesn't just sort of expect people to conform to like a traditional sort of standard of what professional means. Thank you.
Okay, I want to ask our lovely staff folks if they have gotten a system ready to go for us to vote. Wonderful. Seeing that, I'm going to call this, I guess, questions. I'll have 2 minutes for counselor questions. I'll see hands. Okay.
Question.
Do you have a question?
No, I want
Okay.
someone to ask on.
Wonderful. I'm going to give it like 10 more seconds of painful, awkward silence.
Like the questions.
Kirby.
I have a question for Will.
Oh, nice, great. I love this.
About your counting.
How would you differentiate people of two majors if they have different, same skills, same skill set, same experience, same passion? How would you go and differentiate between them? Who's the best candidate for delegate?
Great question. So I just want to make sure I understand your question. So the candidates are exactly the same, except they have two different majors, correct?
No, they have the same major.
Oh, okay. Okay,
They
perfect.
have everything same, but how would you differentiate between them? Like if they have the same qualities and the skills up?
I,
It's like, who would he pick?
yeah, who would I pick if they're exactly the same person? Well, I will be honest with you. I don't think that's very likely because everyone is unique in their own way. And they all bring different qualities and abilities to the table. But if I were, I mean, there has to be some kind of distinction between people realistically. So I'm not sure how I'd pick two people that are exactly the same if they're exactly the same. But if they were different, which is the more likely scenario, right? I would try to weigh the different needs of TSAC currently and try to fill up those needs with the delegates, if that makes sense. But also trying to balance, like thinking about the next cycle, the next year. So, yeah.
Okay, all the time for that question. Do you have another question or is that another answer?
I have another answer.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
You know,
Any other counselor questions? Question from Patrick?
not an answer.
Yeah, so I gave 2 minutes for questions, for a question. That question went more than 2 minutes. So if you have a question for other folks, that's fine, but I'm gonna cut off answers just so we have, for the sake of time today. You got a question?
I have a question. How do you plan on making the delegate program actually fun and engaging?
Is that a general question or?
Yeah, for everyone.
Okay.
30 seconds.
Pause it really quickly. I actually have a point of clarification is that this is just,
Well, out of the scope of this, because this does for the end.
Yeah, I just like, how would you make sure that that candidate was like, yeah, but how would you like obviously like make an interview so you can see not just like the professional side of a person, but like, do they have good leadership skills? Do they have X, Y, and Z? Like, how would you holistically interview someone?
okay, I'm gonna give 2 minutes to that question. Patrick.
Yeah, so during our first process of selecting delegates, we had questions that we already had prepared for the interviewees. And in those questions was really more focused on what passions they have, visions, experiences, and for what, you know, is that capable, are we capable of providing that in that role that we're given? So is, you know, being a delegate, you know, we had some individuals that were very passionate about like justice reform or looking to establish like a new form of events. We're looking, you know, there was a lot of creative ideas. So it's just a matter of finding where those ideas are applicable. Is that something that could be done through the budget committee? Is that something that I can do through PR committee? Is that something that accountability be interested in? So really it's much more of looking at, is this something that you want is fits for your personality? This is what we have. We have our PR committee, we have our accountability, we have sustainability, you know, we have budget. So there's a lot of various areas that people can go in and are able to have a new experience. You know, personally, PR committee is probably the funnest. You're able to create more events. You're able to have a lot more dialogue. It's really fun. You know,
I joined it.
You have budget, and you know, some individuals can be from like accounting, and the budget can be like their kind of way to express that accountability. Probably looking into the policies. So it's just a matter of finding what areas we have, and if that suits that individual there, and if they suit our needs as well.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, counselor questions. Okay. Okay, last question.
For Susanna, what keeps you coming back to the delegate program, and what drives you to put so much work into it?
Well, honestly, keeps me back is my major. A lot of people think that public relations is event making, but it's not event making. It's a lot of card and data. And I can't say the other word, but it's like data and personal data. And that what the delegate program really makes me bring back, because I want to see the personal data within not only just data, but personally with the delegates of their own responses of how we can later on better the delegate program. And that's the whole point of PR. And that's my main goal, to how to better the delegate program and how the delegates for future delegates have a better experience. And not only that, that TSAC will have a better experience of working with the delegates. And yeah.
Okay. I want to ask that our lovely staff folks cancel the poll and start a new one in the chat because people have voted while the voting wasn't open.
So based off of the people who have already voted, I think we're gonna do what Steven has, which is ranked choice, just because it's like really narrow already.
Stephen, which platform are we using?
RCV?
Oh, wonderful.
And
Yeah, whenever we get ready, that'd be amazing.
Are you all ready for the vote or no?
Yes, that was the last question. Sorry, I guess it's my job to call. I'm gonna start voting, but it's not the current one in the Teams chat. We're gonna get the link pasted in here.
Okay, dope.
So give us just one moment. Are we ready?
I'm ready. If you,
Yeah, if you'll send in the chat, we are ready to go on it.
okay, I'm putting it in the meeting chat. Is
That works. No, there's no public folks
that
here.
okay for everyone? Yeah.
That works.
There's also already some links in that chat. Those are not the one from Steven is the one.
For me, yeah.
Colonel William Coates is amazing.
A little biased.
But it's great.
Hold on, just a bit.
There is no bias. I have no vote.
I don't think that's how bias works, but okay.
It can.
You can be biased and not have a vote. Absolutely. I'm biased from the business of the legislature and I'm not a legislator.
Mhm.
One shot. That's okay.
Means you
Liked. I'll probably be me because I forgot to delegates.
Oh,
You're mean.
For you.
You're mean to
I'm not mean.
Oh.
He's always mean.
I'm just a little stern sometimes.
What about if each candidate gets 3 votes?
Everyone has voted.
Oh,
Do you care? Right? Everyone has voted. I'm seeing.
Okay. So yes,
Well,
everyone.
I'm seeing 11. I'm seeing 10, not 11. There are 11 folks here.
wait, someone hasn't voted.
Someone hasn't voted yet.
Does anyone abstain from this vote?
I think there's 11.
We're good.
Oh,
See, Emma hasn't.
Emma is not here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, she's
11 out of 12.
The result will be 11 to update everyone.
We're fine.
You're fine. Do you want me to announce or?
I can announce if it's okay. Just because
Oh,
I'm chairing the section.
you can see this?
Everyone can see the results. I'm gonna announce that the winners of this election are Susana Villa-Gomez, Colonel William Coates, and Rowan East. Congratulations. Love that. That's wonderful. Okay, we'll move on. We are 45 seconds past the time allotted for this item. Okay, there's gonna be 10 minutes left for the next old business item. Is going to be a resolution to establish a guideline and procedure regarding the TSAC resource list.
I did.
I added this to the. Can I have order, please?
Yes.
I added this to the agenda and I'm an author on it. I'm gonna defer to my wonderful co-chair to chair this section and pass it off.
Hello, everybody. As you guys see, we're gonna move on to new business. Item B on new business, discussion on the SGT-SAC regular meeting schedule.
business.
Old. It's new, it's under new business.
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
still on order.
Pardon me. Yeah, old business, B, CRFA 2502, resolution to establish a guideline procedure regarding the TSAC resource list. I'm gonna hand it off to Sky.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Patrick. I just want to note that this was authored by myself, Susanna, and Irvi. It's not just mine, but I added to the agenda, so I'm going to read it. CRFA 2502, resolution to establish a set of guidelines and procedures of the Public Relations Committee and Sustainability Committee regarding an SGT-SAC resource list, authored by Sky Childress, Susana Villa-Gomez, and Paul. Abstract. Given SGT-SAC's mission, the Sustainability Committee's mission, and the PR Committee's mission, this resolution establishes that it is a joint responsibility of the PR Committee and the Sustainability Committee to maintain and distribute a resource list that informs students of campus and community resources available to them. Whereas SU TSAC's mission is to support the evolving needs of the MSU Denver students by advocating in their best interests to enhance the university experience and opportunities. Whereas the Sustainability Committee is charged with the responsibility to facilitate access to essential resources and opportunities that support their personal development, career advancement, and academic success. Whereas the Public Relations Committee's purpose is to build connections with the MSU Denver students and is charged with managing and maintaining the SU TSAC website and helping other communities from the SU TSAC for any event. Whereas the Sustainability and PR committees create the following guidelines and procedures. Whereas the following sections would fall under the definition of procedures and would need a supermajority to pass. Section 1, resources on the list. Resources can be added to or removed from the SU TSAC resource list in one of three ways. A majority vote of SU TSAC, by a majority vote of the Sustainability Committee, by a majority vote of the Public Relations Committee. B, any voting member of SU TSAC may, quote, veto a resource if that member believes the resource to participate in racism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, or other forms of hate. The member may voice their concern in the meeting where the resource is being considered or in a general meeting of SU TSAC. If the resource is already added to the list, it will be removed while it is under deliberation. For a vetoed resource to be added or re-added to the list, SU TSAC must vote to add it or re-add it. C, resources added to the list are being endorsed by TSAC, not by the university as a whole. The TSAC resource list constitutes speech of TSAC, a student organization, and not speech of the university. Section 2, managing the list. Whoever is a member that has permission to edit the SU TSAC webpage or is otherwise advertising the list is allowed to add resources to the list when they are approved by the processes in section 1 of this document, unless a veto has been put forward. B, the PR committee is responsible for updating the digital version of the SU TSAC resource list, unless it has been completed by another member with access. C, the Sustainability Committee is responsible for reviewing the list on a periodic basis, not to be less than once per semester. The Sustainability Committee will present the list to SU TSAC and ask for input as part of this review. Section 3, distributing and advertising the list. When creating materials, graphics, or any means of sharing, distributing, or advertising the SU TSAC resource list, it must be apparent to the viewer that the list is SU TSAC's creation. It could be by attaching SU TSAC logo to it, adding the title of SU TSAC's resource list, or any other means where the viewer could easily understand the source of the list. Whereas, the following sections would fall under the definition of guidelines and would need a simple majority to pass. Section 1, creating and editing. A, guiding reasons for the list. The SU TSAC resource list exists to help advertise the resources that are available to the students we serve. When adding to, advertising, and removing from the list, SU TSAC should consider the best interests of the students first. B, counselor input. The SU TSAC resource list should be created, managed, and maintained by SU TSAC counselors. Any counselor should feel free to suggest a resource to be added to the list or otherwise give input on the list. C, campus and student input. The PR Committee and Sustainability Committee should seek campus and student input for this list. A digital form should be included on the webpage that houses the list and should be available for students and campus departments to submit resources to be added to the list. And the chairs of the PR and Sustainability Committee should monitor the form for submissions. D, external to campus resources. External to campus resources should be added to the list when they could be a benefit to students. These resources don't have to be educational in nature, but should have a clear link to students. Section 2, advertising. Designing graphics and flyers. The design of flyers and similar mediums to advertise the list can be changed over time, but the list itself is subject to the above procedures. B, distribution. Printouts to the SU TSAC resource list should be present and available to students at all events of SU TSAC or tabling sessions. This could be on the back of another flyer in such a way that it is simple for the members staffing or marketing the event. C, resource highlights. The PR committee should establish a recurring monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, etc. schedule where they highlight one of the resources on the list. This should involve a social media post, collaboration with the resource, especially if it is on campus, and anything else that the PR committee wants to do to highlight the resource to the student body. Section 2, reviewing. The Sustainability Committee will review the resources on the SU TSAC resource list to ensure contact information and summaries are up to date and to ensure that the resources are still available and serving the student body. The PR Committee will review the SU TSAC resource list to ensure that all links are functional and the grammar formatting of the list is accomplishing the goals of the list. For the website, the PR Committee will do this review at least once per semester. For other materials, the PR Committee will review the materials before their production or otherwise distribution on a periodic basis while that material is still in use. Resources serving at-risk populations within our student body should be reviewed on a more regular basis, monthly when possible and practical. Section 4, vetoes. When a resource is vetoed, members of the PR and Sustainability Committee should coordinate together to assign a person to remove the resource from the website and flyers that are currently in use as soon as is possible and practical. Therefore, be it resolved, Student Government, the Student Advocacy Council will adopt the above as guidelines and procedures of the Sustainability Committee and as guidelines and procedures of the Public Relations, with guidelines and procedures to be written in the future and added to these.
All righty. Thank you so much, Sky. I want to open the floor to discussion. I'll go Sai and then.
Okay, so under section 2, managing the list, is whomever is a member, is that a member of the two committees or TSAC as a whole?
I guess I think it's non-specific. So I think whoever is a member, I would go with the least specific, which would be a member of TSAC. And has permission. So this could include Keegan, this could include any of our advisors, and it wouldn't include any of the councils right now because we currently don't have access. So.
For the next section, subsection C for campus and student input, I was just curious if there was any thought of not only offering a way for students and other members of our campus to add or to contribute to the list, but also put forward concerns about resource items. I would not suggest that it has anywhere near the capacity of a veto from a counselor, but I do know that not everyone has the same understanding of what resources mean and what they are doing. So I would also offer that as a consideration.
Okay.
Yeah, that has been considered. It's not written in like that explicitly, but I think that if any one of the 12 counselors or mini delegates get information from a department or another person on campus that they don't like a resource, that so long as they find one counselor that agrees with them, it could be vetoed. And I think that's a good control to allow for that input. And also remember that we are representatives of the campus community.
William?
With that, and tangential to what Faye is kind of asking, I'm a little curious about this majority vote in section 1. By majority vote of the Sustainability Committee and by majority vote of the PR Committee. What does this process look like? And I guess my main curiosity of this is if ESAC gets wind of this, like, will they hear about this kind of thing?
Well, I don't think we talked about that, but like what we thought is like obviously we have a PR committee in our meeting, we pass it like a vote and stuff like that, and we report back like in those general standing committee during us TSAC, and then it gets voted by the whole TSAC if they want this resource list on the list or not.
So as it's currently written, like the Sustainability Committee could vote to add, or the PR Committee could vote to add, and it would be added unless vetoed by any member of the council. And it could also be brought to TSAC to be done the same way. I hear what you're saying, like this notice of like making sure people know about it, and we haven't written in like some sort of notice requirement there. But the Sustainability Committee and PR Committee's meetings and things that are happening in them are public business, must be noticed 24 hours ahead of time. And we as chairs have a duty to report the business of our in the general meeting of TSAC. And so I think that this would be something that falls on the chair's duty to report. Absolutely. So I think I hear what you're saying, and if you have suggested like language of us to add here, I would be happy to sort of add that because I agree with it. But I also think it is unneeded because we have a duty to report what happens in our committees.
Yeah.
William, the response?
Yeah. I think based off that logic, then it should be fine. The concern again isn't really like the PR committee, sustainability committee, and being able to do this more easily or not. It's just, hey, we voted on this. This is now added. And that gives TSAC the opportunity to be like, or veto per this resolution.
Yeah, I think that's sort of an understanding of the duty of a chair of a standing committee is to report back on business, especially if you're voting to do something like this. So certainly.
Discussion items or questions we would like to have? Will?
I'm also curious to see will there be an amendment proposed for the responsibilities for the committees? And that kind of is a question to the authors, and I want to see what Matt thinks about that.
Can you clarify?
So this is assigning responsibilities to the committees.
Mhm.
So that also affects a certain section in the Constitution that refers to the committee's responsibilities. So I'm curious to see what the authors think about that idea and Matt's opinion on that.
Guidance, Susanna?
Yeah, I would love to say so the way I read this is it's calling on our already existing responsibilities. It quotes our mission and purpose and what we do. And it just states that a part of that mission and purpose is keeping and holding this list. I also want to say this list exists. It's within our authority as the PR committee to publish a list like this. And the sustainability committee helps write it. And so I think like this is essentially saying, hey, TSAC is saying this is part of your duty as your committee is, not necessarily an explicit like constitutional requirement, but it's saying this is the way, this is at least one way you should be accomplishing your mission. I'd be happy to add it as an amendment, but I think that's not needed, in my opinion. But I would be curious what Matt has to say.
Trying to pull it up.
Susanna has something to say.
I'll let her go first.
Yeah, just to state that too, it does add more responsibility to the committee, but PR doesn't have a guideline yet, and we as the PR committee have discussed about certain guidelines, and has we like not advertised, but like share resources to the students, that's within the responsibility of PR. So I don't really think there's a concern in my part, and I agree with Sky.
Response, Will?
Yeah, it's not so much of a concern, but a possible opportunity to continue this good work when we're all gone, you know, that way it lives somewhere. So it's not really, I'm not approaching this like, oh, this is a problem. It's more of a, hey, have you guys thought about maybe adding some language that changes the responsibilities a little bit to make sure this doesn't get lost with all the resolutions that tend to get lost historically with TSAC that I've seen in my 3 years usually, but.
Point of clarification. This is a governing document. This is not just a resolution.
Oh, that's right.
So this is something that, and from today's date until it is repealed by TSAC, is governing document language of our two committees. That's why we've written it this way.
You have a direct response?
I also had another point of clarification, actually. Just on a question about the difference between this document and what an amendment to the Constitution would be, and whether or not we would need to create a separate document to amend the Constitution, or if that could be done within this document.
Well, so for guidelines and within the Constitution, we do respect the guidelines that are voted upon here. They're necessarily governing documents, if I recall, but these are like, if we wanted to do a specific amendment to the Constitution, then that would be like a whole nother thing. But since this is specifically for two committees who are writing the guidelines, it would just be part of those guidelines procedures. It wouldn't be like, treated as an amendment.
Yeah, I want to clarify as well is that, so the amendment to the Constitution, Amendment 2, that added guidelines and procedures, laid out specifically what guidelines and procedures are, and that they are governing document language. They're just inferior to the Constitution. So it goes in order: Constitution, procedures, and guidelines. Procedures are mandatory. Guidelines are suggestions by the council. And so the language in the whereas section that says that those are procedures would be mandatory within the PR and sustainability committees. The language in the guidelines is suggestions. If there was any sort of constitutional language, this would supersede all of this. Also, we cannot take something titled as a resolution, notice as a resolution, and make it an amendment in a meeting. Also, this would not have been noticed a week prior.
Yeah,
lots of reasons. It certainly cannot be an amendment. I motion that we vote on this.
I'll give it a second to the motion. Okay,
So
I'll leave it up for discussion on the motion. Please state the previous.
Yes, so
hold on.
Point of order. I just motioned to vote and it was seconded by Maria. That was me motioning to close discussion. I asked that is voted. You sort of call the vote right now with no discussion.
Usually, is there any opposition?
Okay.
Any abstentions?
Was this the vote to vote?
This is the vote to vote, not the vote on the question.
This is the vote to call the question, not the vote on the question.
Point of order, actually. I remember that my motion specifically tied earlier to Matt's opinion, and it was seconded and voted on.
What was it?
What motion?
The motion of my question earlier.
It wasn't a
There
motion.
was a motion made?
Did it?
I didn't hear that and the chair didn't accept it, so.
No.
Anyway.
It's not motioned yet.
Can you call if that motion
Yeah.
vote passed?
So for the motion to vote, seems like we had one, let's see. One objection. Do we have any abstentions? All right,
Okay.
motion passes to vote, to proceed to vote. So,
I'm happy to do this. Unanimous. Pretty good.
No, I objected.
all righty.
I think you're recorded as abstaining.
Hey. Okay, we're gonna have voting. So I'm gonna say, is there any, we're gonna be voting on the resolution? Yeah, we're gonna be voting on this resolution right now for the approval. Is there any objection? Please raise your hand.
Point of order.
I'm
Is this a call for the vote or?
We already had the vote and it was only one objection. That was the motion was to vote.
Yes, so
Okay.
the vote's happening right now.
Great.
We're voting on the actual resolution document. Depending on the voting threshold, we'll see if we need to vote.
Point of order, do you actually believe under what Will was saying, as it sits currently, because there hasn't been an amendment to adjust responsibilities of PR or sustainability, this amendment would be unconstitutional? Because in the Constitution, it says, to help sustain the growth of SGT-SAC, this section outlines SGT-SAC will incorporate guidelines procedures for the standing committees outlined in section 4, subsection 1. Standing committees of this Constitution, committee guidelines procedures should only be approved for responsibilities outlined in the Constitution. If another responsibility or committee needs to be created, the new responsibility committee needs to be passed as a constitutional amendment. There's nothing under either committee that said that they would hold such a document.
Point of order.
All right, we have point of order.
I have another
Go. Okay.
My point of order is that was debate, not a point of order. That's sort of, and just to clarify, that is debate. That's essentially saying that you feel that the language in this doesn't comply with the Constitution, which absolutely is debate, not point of order. I hear that. I disagree. But right now I'm getting into debate too, so I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I do want to say, I don't want us to vote on this if it's going to fail because of that, if it could be a simple motion, because we can't vote 2 times in one meeting for a resolution. And so I want to ask leave of the chair to do a non-official just poll of people if they
Sounds
are
good.
opposed to this. It's not an official vote to pass.
Okay. Faye, you had something to say?
It's a point of clarification that I don't have to bring up right now as it is tangential.
Okay, seeing as everything's like a little bit confuzzled, we're gonna move forward with a temperature check. So this isn't an official voting. Let's just see how we're feeling about this. I'm gonna start from Matt all the way down around.
Can we do hand?
Yeah,
He's faster.
yeah, that's what I was gonna go for.
Oh.
Let's see, do you favor this? Let's do a thumbs up. Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
All right, it's easier.
Can we
You
all
like
do the same-
it?
Can we all do it at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, thumbs up for the so like you're essentially saying that okay, cool. Then I would sort of ask that we just vote then instead.
Well,
Let me clarify, this temperature check is like essentially,
It's just seeing how we feel about
are
it.
we okay to proceed with this even hearing the constitutional objection from Matt? Or would people vote no because of the constitutional objection? That's what I'm asking.
Would vote no under the current status.
Okay,
The reason I'm bringing up the constitutional objection though is because I would support this legislation. I just would like it to go through the more appropriate channel.
okay.
Can I ask a question?
Susanna?
I think I'm confused what you mean that it has to go through the appropriate channels.
Okay, I motion to reopen debate because we're getting back into it
Yeah.
anyway.
Again,
Is there any opposition? I guess you can have that. So, Yeah.
Any opposition?
Sorry.
Any abstentions?
wonderful.
Motion passes. We're open up debate.
Okay.
So
Now we can actually get back into it. I'd love to respond to Matt.
yeah. So one thing I did want to see, Matt, if you could please clarify, just to restate it, just so we can
Alright.
debate properly. with the issue of the Constitution and regarding this guidelines as is?
Basically, the only thing that would need to be done is a quick, simple constitutional amendment to add this kind of list that they're trying to advocate for exists under one or both of the committees. Because they don't currently exist under those committees. It's within the bullet points as we've been referencing the guidelines too.
A constitutional amendment that would require a first read, and then we have to do is it'll have to be 2 weeks. Just for everyone knows.
Absolutely. So,
Scott?
absolutely, I get what you're saying. So I want to debate back on this, whether or not this is constitutional. I disagree. I don't think this resolution is non-constitutional as it currently reads. It doesn't create new responsibilities or powers of committees. It's outlining that, hey, you committee has a responsibility already. This is the way you need to do it. And it creates, hey, my committee, you have a responsibility to facilitate access to essential resources and opportunities. And the way you do that is by creating a resource list. And I know in the in the abstract, it says it is a joint responsibility of the PR committee and sustainability committee to do this. Number one, abstracts aren't typically legislative necessarily. They're not necessarily binding. And it's also not part of the guidelines or procedures. So that wouldn't invoke the Amendment 2 section that you're speaking about. I believe other places in the list is not saying that it is a responsibility. It is sort of outlining how this list exists, how it's going to work. But it is the entire document is invoking responsibilities already enumerated into my committee and in Susanna's committee in the Constitution. It's not delegating new responsibilities. Me and my committee already have a responsibility to ensure access to resources and opportunities. And Susanna's committee already has an opportunity to advertise things to the student body and to message and maintain things like website, etc.
Yeah. Will?
I just ask that we read those sections of responsibility. So if anyone, I unfortunately don't have my computer with me.
I think that's a great.
So the council can know what those responsibilities are.
I do actually want to, because I was looking at the responsibilities. I'm actually leaning towards not disagreeing as much as I was. Because again, PR is supposed to maintain the website and social media, which I'm assuming that's where the list is going to live.
Can I ask that the EA pull up the Constitution, please?
She's doing that. Can I say something?
Yes, Scott.
I wanted to sort of ask if the Constitution does essentially say that guidelines and procedures can't create responsibilities, or can't clarify responsibilities in some way. I would ask what the point of guidelines and procedures are, if not to say you have a responsibility to do this, to do that when you're doing things.
Okay.
But
Matthew,
the amendment would tell you what the responsibility is. The guidelines procedures tell you how to do it.
do we have any guidelines and procedures on the books right now?
Closest one would be accountability.
Okay. I guess, and I know we're kind of conversating, so please
if you
cut
go
us
to
off if you want
Teams and you
share.
go to TSAC channel general and then government documents, that's where.
account general.
So go to OneDrive, go to Teams.
Teams, like
Like the teams on the Teams.
Teams on Teams.
Like the actual.
Well, you can also write Constitution. Type it in.
Actually, there you go. So go down to quick access on the left where it says the Student Advocacy Council.
Now, for counselors right now, seeing if this is a situation that if it is constitutional or not, I like to pose. I like to pose a question. Do we regard this as a vote, seeing as this constitutional, or is this a vote to approve this? And I'm looking at my accountability members here.
It's the latter.
Can I clarify something first?
Yes, please.
If there's a part of this that is not constitutional, before we debate that, we could just amend the resolution to make this simple. So like, I'm sort of wanting to hear from Matt what he has an objection to, or if his objection is still there after what I said. And if it's not still there, we proceed. If it's still there, happy to amend and we can get this done in the next 5 minutes. I'm not gonna write an amendment to the Constitution to the resource list. I think that's silly. And I think that if that's the case, we need to amend guidelines and procedures, the way they get added and the way they're regulated. Not every single project we do be a constitution. I do not have a motion on the floor right now.
Do I have a motion?
I,
Entertain a motion.
well, really quick, I know this isn't a big deal, but there are some like small mistakes and like writing and stuff. I don't know if that should be addressed in this.
Let's, for purposes of the meeting, let's read through our responsibilities here. That way we can go further into the. Matthew, if you could please direct where we should be looking at.
So yeah, basically, let's scroll down to page 9. Or, sorry, I'm trying to find it again. No, I know that part.
Sustainability report, committee listed.
Bottom of page 10. So this is the first part that I was looking at, this section, scroll up just a hair.
Okay, Matt, would you courteously read it out?
So what I was reading is this top section of, I'm gonna go to like the second sentence. I believe committee guidelines procedures should only be approved for responsibilities outlined in the Constitution. So that was really the crux of this conversation. So if you want to scroll back up, sorry, to page 7. And so I was looking at these, and I still think we should make it to where if we are adding a new full responsibility, I do think we should have it as an amendment. I might get to some of your point in just a sec.
Don't worry, I got it.
But I was looking at, scroll down to the responsibilities and like this is sustainabilities. They're supposed to build partnerships, facilitate access to essential resources. So I believe this is the argument that's partially being made for why it would be constitutional. And then in PR, which is the next one down, they handle the website and social media, which is the main focus for this. So those are more the reasons why I'm actually more agreeing with it not being unconstitutional. But I would also like to hear, I guess, from the rest of my team.
Okay, so we have 2 direct responses here. I'll first go with Sky and this was Sana.
Yes, I have a motion. So the language in question in the resolution, I believe, is in the abstract. It is the part of the second line says this resolution establishes that it is a joint responsibility. My motion is just to strike the word establishes and replace that with affirms. So I motion that to amend this resolution to strike the word establishes and make it say affirms.
How do the authors feel?
And then how do the authors feel about that?
Yeah, I don't really mind, but I just have a direct response to Matt.
Yeah, we'll first finish.
Okay, the amendment is friendly. It's now incorporated.
Okay. So Sana has a direct response.
I know in the responsibility in the Constitution, it says like only maintaining the social media, sponsor event from TSAC website. And with the TSAC website, I don't fully have full responsibility of that. I have to go directly to the advisor to add stuff on it. So it takes off a responsibility from PR. And then creating new releases from TSAC and news releases to be shared from other media organizations. And within that, it says, for example, SG TSAC creates events like grab and go to help students know about resources available on campus and help other committees of TSAC events to support the community in MSU Denver. It also says to collaborate with CMEI. It's giving an example. Well, basically, PR helps students to find resources on campus, organization, programs, and community. So I don't really think it's also disobeying the Constitution. It's just adding how we could help and support and give out resources to come.
Thank you, Susanna. And so I would like to, just for the purpose of the meeting, it seems like the biggest concern here was with the responsibility aspect and seeing as, looking also, if you guys go onto the resolution that we have before you, the 2 whereas it states the accessibility committee's responsibility, which, is access to essential resources and opportunities that support their personal development, career advancement, academic success. And the second whereas, the Public Relations Committee purpose is build connection with MSU Denver students that is charged managing and maintaining the SGTSAC website, helping other committees from the SGTSAC to any event. And listen, under all these guidance procedures, the only thing that's just mentioned by responsibility is just what is stated in the Constitution as well, with the social media and the media presence that PR has. So this is just more of a guideline of how the PR should establish it. So I would like to ask Matt, what is your opinion as far, actually, yeah, you're probably gonna address it. Go for it.
Feel like I kind of did. The only piece I wanted left is I wanted to get Will's view on it one last time and potentially make a motion.
After Will, and then I'll entertain a motion.
Two things. I think with that change by Sky, I think it should be fine now for sure, especially after hearing all that those arguments for that change. So I do think now it should be.
I make motion or
my second thing.
Please be recognized before making motions.
Okay. Who's making the motion?
Well, I'm not done speaking. No,
Go for it, my friend.
and then please, can we just amend like small little mistakes if possible?
Happy to response.
Direct response, Sky?
What are the small mistakes?
So really quickly, I labeled them for you.
To me.
Yeah. No capital
Okay.
there for that letter or that word. And then the dates. They're not
Those are the
accurate.
dates we signed it.
And then.
Oh, you guys have been,
Yes.
so it's not today.
Date, not today's date.
Okay, just making
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Okay.
All right, then just that.
Will the authors be amenable to those?
I still have.
Yeah,
Okay.
direct response.
Excluding the very last page where you said the dates, I motion that we adopt these grammatical edits. Are my co-authors in agreement?
You want to?
No, I agree.
Are you in agreement? Wonderful.
Okay.
That's now incorporated in the document. Wonderful.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll motion to vote to pass this resolution.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Alrighty,
Okay.
we're gonna be,
I have a point of clarification.
point of clarification.
This motion is a motion to vote, which is a closed debate. This is not the motion on the resolution. So I ask that we do unanimous consent.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, which will be quicker. All right, for all those who are present, is there any objections on this motion to approve the resolution?
No.
Motion to vote.
Debate on it.
We're doing a motion to vote on it?
So
Okay.
closed debate.
Is there any objections on to proceed to vote?
I don't know, that passes.
No, no abstention. Motion passes. To vote.
Okay.
Now that we're gonna be
We can do
voting.
unanimous consent here too. It's popular.
Yeah, I was gonna go. All right. Is there any opposition to CRFA 2502? Is there any oppositions? Is there any abstentions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes
Beautiful.
unanimously. Congratulations, everybody.
Okay.
I'll now be giving it back to Sky.
Oh, thank you so much for that fruitful conversation and the resolution passing. Now that we've already done item A of new business, I apologize for accidentally proceeding. We're gonna go to item B, discussion on the SU site regular meeting schedule. I added this on here to last week to discuss when we're going to stop meeting and have TSAC vote to decide when we stop meeting and also when we're gonna meet next year. So I have three sort of guiding questions here, which is to meet or not to meet on Thanksgiving Day. And then also when we stop meeting in December, and then when we start meeting in January. And then also to keep or not keep Thursdays Thursdays at 5 for spring, and then when to start meetings in spring. Do we want to start them at the first week of school, or do we start them at the first week of January? That's sort of all the discussion questions I want to hear. And then I'll see hands on that. I'm going to start with Sky, who's talked less at this meeting.
Cool. For the to meet or not to meet, would you be willing to just say the date and then, I don't know.
We can vote on it kind of thing.
Ultimately, it's up to us.
Wonderful. I'm going to throw out some dates and we're going to do some rapid fire unanimous consent votes just to get this out of the way. And if there's any opposition, we will debate this. So on Thanksgiving Day, 2 weeks from today, do we want to meet? If we do not want to meet, raise your hand.
I do not.
Wonderful. By unanimous consent, we're not meeting on 11/27. Do we want to meet on December 4th? Is there any opposition to meeting on December 4th when Dr. Simpkins will be meeting with us?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you're opposed to us meeting on December 4th.
This isn't opposite. I'm just not gonna be here on the 4th.
You and I could talk about.
You just give.
No worries. Counselor opposition, if you're gonna vote no on this question, December 4th. That passes by unanimous consent. December 11th. Raise your hand if you're in opposition to us meeting on December 11th.
That's on the Tuesday.
That must be great.
I
Yeah.
see one in opposition, two,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 in opposition. I will call that failed. However, we're on to discussion. Is there any discussion as to why we should or should not meet on December 11th?
It's on a Tuesday.
Is December 11th not a Thursday?
No,
This is a Thursday.
It is.
Oh, it's a Thursday.
that was a Thursday.
Okay, I'm making sure I did something right. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I want to, there are people opposed, so discussion hands, please voice your opposition. Sigh.
Finals week, I feel like it's a pretty valid reason not to meet. I mean, some of us might not have finals, but on the other hand, some of us
Yeah.
might have finals, so.
Susanna, did you have a hand?
I was just gonna state what say
Okay.
to final weeks.
Okay, I will voice my wanting for us to meet on the 11th. It's not a strong want, I'm happy to not, but I think we have more business to get done this year than we have meetings, because this would, if we stop meeting and the 4th is our last meeting, we only have 2 more meetings after today, and that includes a meeting to which we are gonna go over on our meeting time with Dr. Simpkins on the 4th. So I think we need to meet during finals week, unfortunately. And I think we should continue meeting at least to the 11th. Will,
I have a proposition for a potential fix for things, making one of those meetings longer than normal. And just not showing up on a finals day for
ooh,
a student or because we're also students, I understand, sure. But if we have so much business, it's just an idea, make one of the meetings a little longer than normal to include that business.
Patrick?
Would that meeting be the one with Dr. Simpkins, December 4th?
Yes.
It's whatever the council would decide.
I can clarify that we only have 2 more meetings left if we don't meet on the 11th and after, so it'd either be this upcoming week or the 4th or both, to extend, if we're gonna do that. And these are all just discussion, no questions have been answered yet. Fair.
To Will's point, if we were to extend a meeting, I would say probably extend the 4th, because that's the day we're meeting with Dr. Simpkins anyway. I still personally think that we should meet the 11th. Things are still happening on campus during that week, and I think it's important that we also be here to do our work too.
I'll add one more thought to the mix. I think it is important that we focus on our finals and we care about our finals and we pass our classes. It is also important that we are elected to this role and we know we have finals every year. And I think that it is important for us to meet that week at least. Just, see Stephen.
No, go Will
Okay,
first.
Will first.
Well, I'm about, that motion?
You can make a motion, you're recognized.
But I want to hear what Steven has to say
Steven
before.
first.
Theoretically, if you all choose to meet, finals are over at that time. Because you all meet at 5 o'clock, unless there is an extension or certain classes do that. I'm not a student, so I don't necessarily know. So theoretically, finals have concluded because the next day is commencement.
I do want to clarify too, that like, if you do miss a meeting because of a final, if you have a final scheduled during it, or if you need just like really a study session because you have a final after that or something, school comes first, that's in our constitution. And I absolutely think the accountability committee would excuse that absence, just communicate with them. And so like, I want people to be there if we're going to have a meeting. And that's like the point of being here is that we have everyone here. But if you genuinely have a rigorous outside commitment or a school commitment outside this council, I think it's absolutely valid for you not to go. Will?
I then motion to vote on this date, the
11th.
11th.
Okay. It seems like other people are in agreement that we should be voting on it. Can I ask you to retract and we'll just do the vote instead of having to vote on whether or not we're going to vote first?
Sure.
Wonderful. We're going to vote on 12/11. Is there any opposition to us meeting on 12/11? Seeing one?
Oh, no, opposition.
I see one in opposition to meeting on 12/11. I call that passed.
I wanted to abstain.
We not.
It'll.
Okay, it doesn't. But for the record, I
Well,
wanted
we're
to
not-
abstain.
So when I'm voting this way, this is a non-recorded vote. So we're not necessarily recording all of the tallies. We're just recording it did pass. So it did pass. Those regardless if you abstained, it did pass. Okay. We will be meeting on 12/11. I'm gonna keep going just for the sake of us being able to say no, or say yes if we want to meet on 12/18. Do we want to meet on 12/18? Raise your hand if you do not want to meet on 12/18.
Winter break.
Yeah.
That left them all.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That passes. We are not meeting on 12/18. I'm gonna put these together. Raise your hand if you do not want to meet on December 25th or on January 1st. Wonderful, that passes. Okay, I'm gonna stop the voting there, and we're gonna go on to little item B here, to meet or not to meet on Thursdays for 5. I'm gonna open up the discussion on what time we should be meeting. I'm gonna start with Stephen, weirdly. Stephen.
Sure. Taking a look at all of your schedules, based on what you have thus far, I recognize that schedules may change. Currently, the way your schedules lay, and if I read them correctly, the times that you all could meet, where you all are technically available based on academic schedules. Mondays from 3:30 till 5:30. Tuesdays, 5 to 7. Wednesdays, 5:30 to 7. Thursdays, 5 to 7. Or Friday, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Now, I will say a few things, and I apologize. I don't mean to call anyone out. This is just class schedules. Faye, it seems like you have a class most of the day on Friday. Just wanted to verify that for my records. Okay, that's fine. So that's where that comes from. I still don't have schedules from about 3 counselors. Yes?
Just to say, I have issues registering, but I do have my schedule on.
I know I've incorporated your schedule, I believe. Maybe I didn't.
I just want to clarify that. That's an
Okay.
issue for my.
You can see it on the back end.
Point of clarification,
Yeah,
we will be discussing. I'm just wanting to hear from Stephen now.
Okay.
Please, let's go back to order. I want to make sure we get a good discussion on this and really get counselor voices on this. So, Stephen, thank you for that insight. I'm hearing we have 3:30 to 5:30 available on Mondays. We have 5 to 7 available on Tuesdays. We have 5:30 to 7:30 available on Wednesdays. We have 5 to 7 on Thursdays. Was that the time or was it?
Correct.
Okay. And then we have 3 to 5 on Fridays. Nominally, we do not have our time we met the previous couple years on Fridays available for all counselors because of school. I just want to open the floor knowing that. Faye.
I was gonna voice my support for continuing having the same meeting time. I kind of didn't even think we would change it and built my schedule with that understanding that it would be Thursdays 5 to 7. I also personally enjoy this time because it feels late enough in the week that we get a lot of the recaps from people's meetings and other advocacy they've been doing. And we also can kind of plan for what the next week will look like. So I think it falls in a good place in the week.
I will see hands. Susanna?
I personally didn't think we were gonna keep on Thursday just because schedule due changes. I personally cannot attend Thursdays due of an internship. I'm not gonna be here in the Denver area, so I wouldn't be able to make it.
For the current one?
For the spring.
Yeah.
Can I clarify, is that a like a class that you take? I just want to make sure everyone knows that is a class that causes that non-availability. I'll see hands. Maria?
Kind of think we should switch our meetings to a little bit earlier. Sometimes we look tired. And I feel like if we had it a little sooner,
Every day.
more energetic. It's already late. It also gets pretty, it also gets pretty dark outside. And I'm also, this is just me, I'm scared of driving in the snow in the night.
Okay. I want to voice my support for Mondays from 3:30 to 5:30. I know it's the beginning of the week and it's exact opposite to what Faye just said. Recap the previous week and plan during that week for our advocacy efforts. And I think we could phrase any time for the pros and cons of it, but I just want to throw the pros out there as my debate. Sai.
I voiced my support for Wednesday. I know it's the latest option, but I feel like
5:30, 7:30. We have opposition here. Okay, I want to see hands who haven't spoken on this yet, just to make sure we are getting those. Will?
To Maria's point, it is, I do think for safety purposes, we should be considerate of that. This might sound kind of weird, but I'm gonna say it. I'm in a position of privilege to not feel at least in danger at night. And I think that needs to be considered for all who, all the women here.
Kind of woke queen over here.
People. Just saying, I'm not on the record. I'm just trying to.
Okay, so
Consider it.
I've heard lots of voices on this. I also want to ask our accountability person, when it comes to the responsibility for making our meeting times, essentially,
Good question.
because the council decides our meeting times, and that could be a 7-6-7-5 decision, and that still binds. Individual counselors, regardless of whether or not their responsibilities outside of the council, they're also responsible to set their class schedules up to our time also. While we would consider class schedules in our voting, individual counselors have a responsibility to ensure their class schedules align with our meeting time, correct?
Is that in our constitution?
Well,
So ultimately, to answer your question, is once that meeting time is set.
Yeah.
Counselors have a duty to make those meetings regardless, but obviously it doesn't tell us how to determine those meetings. Like you said, if we take into consideration like already the class schedules of people, that shouldn't be much of an issue.
Yeah.
Right. So we do have a responsibility to do that. So
absolutely. The reason that I state that is not because I think we're going to set it there in someone's class. I just wanted to note that we do have a lot of nominal class times. So we have an afternoon class on our Thursdays from Susanna. We have a Friday all-day class from Faye. And so I just want to say that it is possible that we might have a direct schedule conflict where none of us are available at a time together that's not super late. And we as a council have to decide how we want to proceed with that and talk to the individuals who have that conflict. And I think it would be valid if we do not have an answer to this question today, if we answer this next week, so long as it's answered next week. Because if we wait longer than that, I think it's not enough notice. But I want to open the floor back up and stop talking. So, Sai.
Okay. This might be a hot take.
Do it. This is all about.
Potentially, could we do a morning meeting? No? Based on anyone's schedule?
Nope.
So,
sorry.
Got an 8 a.m. class.
Unless you all did Friday morning from 8 a.m. to 9.
I was like, you gotta go like 7 to 9 for me.
7 a.m. 9 a.m. We'd never be on time. I'll try to be on time for that. Sorry, not sorry. Love you guys. Matt.
Valid though.
So I'm gonna throw out this as an idea, not quite a motion yet, but why don't we do over the next week some sort of ranked choice voting with the times available so that we can discuss that next week.
I guess I'll voice my opinion on that proposal. I don't think that's necessarily a great idea. I think that we should sort of use this time to discuss like the times Steven's talked about, not necessarily any sort of voting over the course of the next week. I think we'll have an idea of probably 1 to 2 to 3 contenders at this moment of like where we're at, thinking of all the things, and either vote on it this week, which I would be happy to do, or wait a week. I was sort of adding wait a week as like just in case, but we do have quite a bit more time in our meeting, and this is the last thing. So I would be happy to spend the rest of this time if it gets us to meeting time. But Susanna had a hand, so we're going to Susanna.
Oh, you could
Okay,
go first,
Steven.
This is just a direct response to Susanna earlier. I have incorporated your academic schedule now. Nothing changes.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
I also want to note something that I just like thought of earlier was at Tulane, they meet late, really late. And so like, I think, I hear and they also live on campus too. So there's another thing too, but there's lots of things around anyway, but yeah, we have a couple, but Rowan.
So, okay, I don't have a particularly strong feeling about any of the times. I can make all of them. They're all fine with me, but I like Monday at 3:30 because it's early.
I really like Monday at 3:30. That's one of the ones. I want to pose to the council that we identify 2 top contenders first, and then vote on those two. Either that votes now, that votes next week, whatever it is, but let's identify two top contenders so that we narrow this question down. So there isn't some like ranked choice question that would be too complicated, in my opinion. Will.
I think Monday, what was it, 3:30 to
5:30.
5:30?
Yeah.
Just because of considerations.
Yeah.
I
I also want to note that during business hours, so it's easier to get meetings of folks while they're being paid. Okay. Patrick.
Stephen, could you reiterate the available times?
Yep. So again, for meeting times, we have 3:30 to 5:30 on Mondays. That's the two, I'm sticking with 2-hour blocks. 3:30 to 5:30 Monday. Tuesday, 5 to 7. Wednesday, 5:30 to 7. Thursday, 5 to 7. So it's similar to what we have now. Or Friday, let me just make sure I'm looking at this correctly. 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock.
Classes from 9 to 2:45.
That's right.
Wow. Okay. Not official voting, not binding. If 3:30 to 5 is a meeting you can make, not if you like it, meeting that you can, 3:30 to 5:30. There you go. Is a meeting that you can make, regardless of your opinion. If you think it's possible for you to change your work schedule, if your work happens to fall in, raise your hand. If you think it's possible. Okay. I want to note all but one with one absent. Okay. Let's go on to, if 5 to 7 on Tuesdays works in a way where you can make it, raise your hand. This is not preference. This is if you can make it. Okay. No worries. If Wednesday, 5:30 to 7:30 is something you can make, regardless of your availability, raise your hand. Okay. If Thursday's 5 to 7, the time we have been meeting is something you can make, raise your hand. Okay. If Fridays 3 to 5 is something you can make, raise your hand. Okay. Stephen, do you have those written down? I don't want to hear them. I just want to know you've written down. Okay. If we're going to redo that with preference now, not just if you can make it, preference. If Mondays from 3:30 to 5:30 is your number one preference, raise your hand. Okay.
Really have a.
And if you don't have a preference, abstain from all of them.
Great, can do.
If Tuesday, 5 to 7 is your number one preference, raise your hand. 0. If Wednesday from 5:30 to 7:30 is your number one preference, raise your hand. If Thursday from 5 to 7 is your number one preference, raise your hand. If Friday from 3 to 5 is your number one preference, raise your hand. Okay.
That's strong.
I want to put to the council that we have a very strong option in Mondays from 3:30 to 5:30. I also want to ask, there were individuals that said they could not make it to that time. Raise your hand now. Sai, what's up?
Well, it's not that I just have another meeting directly at 5:30 on Mondays, reoccurring.
Where's it at?
Virtual.
Virtual.
Wait, you don't want to be stuck in a meeting for 7?
I do that all the time.
So,
I know.
what if we met from, and when you say 3:30, Stephen, people's classes get out at 3:15, correct?
Yeah.
What if we met from 3:25 to 5:25? Are you available for that time?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I think meeting at a round time makes sense. I think we just cut 5 minutes off our meeting, which is a wild thing to do, but 3:30 to 5:25, I think is a valid enough time to meet.
With an understanding that you have.
Okay.
If we
I see a very strong preference and very little debate amongst the preference here and the availability, except for a couple of folks. And so I want to allow space for a counselor to make a motion if they would so choose. I also want to first, before any of that, Stephen.
I just want to say for the folks who are not registered for classes, there are a few of you. I'm assuming that you have been diligent enough to look at academic schedules and not wait till January 17th to register. Do you feel like that time will, do you feel like you will be registering for a class during that?
A point of clarification, we've asked folks if they're available, so if we decide this time, they'd be committing to it, and I think that when they go to register, they have to know that they can't meet then.
As an administrator, it is my duty to make sure folks are putting their academics first.
Absolutely, understood.
So I apologize, Scott.
Throw it out there, no worries.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, if there are folks who want to answer Stephen, feel free to before I move.
Okay.
Will.
Yes, Stephen, I know you've been asking me for more.
Out yourself, but okay.
Yes, Steve.
There
is the issue that the government shutdown was preventing me from using my education benefits. But now that that's been solved and they're opening up the government, despite how I may feel about that. But, yes, I will make this work. Don't worry, I will make it work. It's a priority.
Okay. I would invite a counselor to make a motion for the time we're gonna meet.
I'd like to make a motion. 3:30 to 5:25 on Mondays next semester.
Is there a second? Okay, I hear Maria seconding that. Is there any opposition? Raise your hand now. Right, that passes with unanimous consent. We'll be meeting from 3:30 to 5:25 during the spring semester. I want to give notice to counselors now that if you have a conflict with that time, you're constitutionally obligated to come to these meetings. So ensure that you do not have a conflict with that time.
Do your best.
I see Stephen has a face.
This is more of an advisement thing. So over the course of all the universities that I've worked at with student government, they have set in their constitution and governing documents a set and standard time that they meet weekly. Every institution that I've had said that has that. And in theory, that has affected to some extent some folks being able to run and be a part of it. So yes, that is a barrier. However, I want to put that out there as a thought for you all to consider. If that is something you all as a student governing body would want to adopt for this council, meaning, is there something that you would want to add to your constitution that says, and you have a whole section in your constitution of meetings, when meetings will take place each semester, so that way it is guaranteed, you will have that time, you will have that space, because I will book it out a year or two in advance. And folks could then build their schedules and or decide, oh, that's part of the elections. I need to know that meetings are this time. I can't make that. I can't run. I have kids at home. I have a job at this time. So I am putting that out there. I don't expect any direct responses. It is just something for you all to noodle on.
I have a question for the folks that have hands. Are these questions on what Stephen just said, or is it back to the question at hand, back to the item at hand? It's about the Constitution. I think we can talk about that in the future and not today. Back to the item with Will.
I'm sorry, my brain just.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back. Next thing on this list is going to be when to start meeting in spring. So there's this question of the spring standard semester starts on the 18th, I believe, or 20th, or something in there, that Monday, or Tuesday, I don't remember, something in there. And so when do we want to start meeting? We meet on Mondays. Do we want to start meeting that first week of that semester? Do we want to start meeting earlier in January? Keep in mind, there are students having classes in early January. I am one of them. From January 5th to January 17th, I have 2 classes. And so we do have students that do have classes during the winter semester. And I just wanted to pose to the council for discussion when to start meeting. We'll go to Will first and then.
Just an opinion, my opinion for that. I think it's important to, take into consideration potential burnout symptoms. if you're meeting during those times. I've always used that time in my 3 years to recharge personally. Even, to be honest, work on resolutions and things of that nature. It just gives me more time because there's no classes. And for students that need to work, maybe they need to work that time as well. Just a consideration, because like burnout's a real thing. I'm sure we've all experienced it.
Stephen mentioned earlier, I don't remember about the retreat. I will be out of the country from the 3rd to the 17th of January. So those 2 weeks are not available for me.
I'm gonna put myself in and then I'll go to Susanna. I want to respond to Will. I want to say that I completely agree. Our winter break needs to be a break. I also want to let folks know that as of the current last meeting, we've decided that is 21 days from January 1st. And so if we decided to meet on the 8th of January, that would be 28 full days of break. That's also very soon after our full week break of from I'm not gonna say that, but for Thanksgiving Day. And then also we will have spring break as well to consider. Just wanted to pose that of the number of days we are on break there for our consideration. Susanna.
I just want to state that I will be out of the country too from January 10th to the 17th, so I won't be able to meet earlier than that.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw a day out there. This is not a motion. This is just a thought of the 19th. Technically, we start this semester on the 20th, but we do have for those that will be able to make it to the 10th, we do have a small possibility of doing some 30 minutes of business then. But then we also will have the 19th right before the semester starts in full. And 2 counselors are out.
Yep.
I'll be back.
I'm gonna add myself to the stack and say that I think we should start meeting on the 12th after having looked at the schedules. The reason I put this is throughout a large part of the summer last year and likely this upcoming year, we will have either no meetings or not standard meetings. We'll likely have some sort of thing that's different. But the university keeps ticking. And so the university's departments keep meeting, the university continues to make decisions and continues to consider things during our breaks. And so while they come back shortly after New Year's Day, if we don't come back until 3 weeks later, I think we're missing out on a lot of things. And I think we're not representing the students in that space. I also want to note that I understand that 2 folks are out of the country and I think you should enjoy your vacation. And I think that you should communicate with the accountability committee. And I think those should be excused absences. And I don't think there should be any problem with that. I would be happy if we started meeting on the 12th. School is in session on the 12th, just not for the entire school. And I think it'd be a good thing to do. I'll go to Patrick.
I motion that we start meetings in spring from the 19th of January.
I second that.
Okay. We're gonna do verbal first. Is there any opposition? I'm opposed. Wonderful. Seeing 1 in opposition, that motion passes. We will start meeting on the 19th. Wonderful. Okay. There was something else that I was thinking right here. Oh, space for our meetings. I think we've had today, we've had problems getting the SB 400 because the SB 400 is the advancement boardroom. And it is sort of owned by a department that they get to veto us, and if we have it reserved. And sometimes we get notice ahead of time that we're going to be out of it, and sometimes we don't. And so I really want a consistent meeting time. I also want to note that JSSB is typically not accessible to students. It is, but they don't think about JSSB like 4th floor as being student space. There's the C2 hub. That's the only place that's up there that's really student space. The rest of it is the university advancement, which more deals with alumni and donating. The president's office, which is rarely students find themselves in the president's office. They find themselves meeting the president other places. And who else is up there? Strategy. I don't think students are typically going up there. And so I think the 4th floor of JSSB is often not used by students. I would like to see us in the future use the student senate chambers in the Tivoli. And so I want to ask our advisors to check availability from Kevin, ACES, to see if 3:30 to 5:30 is available on Mondays for the next semester and book those. But I don't get to make those decisions, and I want to ask the council what they.
How's the camera equipment there? Because if I recall, it's always been iffy sometimes.
Yeah, we would be using our camera because the camera that is used for SACAB is considered AHEX equipment and they don't loan out the quote executive business.
I want to clarify, why don't we just purchase our own executive suite like they have? And like, we could just do that and have a good setup and maybe even pay ACES a small fee for all of our meetings, so they'll set it up for us and house it. You know, I feel like there's something we can work out here. We have a budget. I'm gonna go to Will first and then Patrick.
I mean, we could house it ourselves. We do have, so we don't have to pay. But I get the setting for sure. That's all I got.
Just make it
Patrick?
Yeah, I want to see how much would we be charged if we, because heck, isn't it?
So all of this is in the theoretical. We don't have numbers. I imagine they charge us a very small amount of money to set up, considering the entire turn hall is like $100 for student orgs. I think we don't need nearly as much staff to set up that. So I think one staff person for 20 minutes of time is likely a very small nominal fee for us to pay. Patrick.
So 2 questions. Would we have to rent out that space? And secondly, why not in this space? Because this space is pretty.
I'll respond to that. I know for a fact we don't have to rent out the space. The space is free for student orgs. We are a student org. It is the Senate chambers. It is made for student governments to meet. That's like its sort of purpose. And I don't think this space is adequate enough for students to come in here. I think the Senate chambers has a lot more seats around it. Is more of a square and has a lot of gallery seats too, that is available. I also really like the mics in that room, the room mics. And I think if we would just use those, that would also be cool. Matt.
Throw out also, if we're meeting on a Monday, having it in the student union would probably be better space than the kind of your points of being on the 3rd, 4th, whatever floor of this building.
I agree. I think there's lots of students in the Tivoli Mondays from 3 to 5:30. I think it'd be really cool to be right there in their face. Be like, come meet with us. Anyway, Will.
To that point, we'd probably make it on time, maybe a little bit easier. There is a bathroom too in there, which is very convenient. Like if we need to go, which is like right there. And I do love the aspect that students know we're right there. They can see us. We can see them.
Okay. We're gonna rapid fire points here, Rowan.
Yeah, I was also gonna say something really similar to what you said. I also just like the idea that it's in a more central location on campus.
Okay, I'm gonna motion that if possible, we meet in that space for the spring semester and ask our advisor to report back on its availability.
Yeah.
Sorry, we are a little short on time here, so if someone wants to second that, or we could not.
I second that.
Wonderful. The motion again, I'll restate it, is I motion that we meet in the Senate chambers for our meetings next semester and we ask our advisor to check the availability and report back. Any opposition?
No.
Wonderful, that passes. Cy.
Stephen just brought to our attention that the meeting time that we agreed on, January 19th, is MLK Day. Campus will be closed. So
Okay. My motion to meet on January 12th. January 19th.
Second.
Is there any opposition? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That fails. As of right now, we've set the 19th. That's not been changed. So is there a motion on the table? Okay,
I was gonna motion to extend by 5 minutes to allow time for deciding.
I'll second that. Is there any opposition? Okay, Faye. Oh, you didn't have a point. Cool. So the 19th, we're meeting on that day, but it's MLK Day. So the council needs to decide how we're not going to meet on that day. Do we want to not meet on that day and postpone it to the next meeting? Or do we want to not meet on that day and have a different meeting? That's the question I open up for discussion.
The recording.
Susie.
I would rather have it on that week on a different day, just because we are gonna be participating in Welcome Week. And I do need to like update you all. I'm like, hey, who's gonna come and stuff like that. I don't wanna like be bugging you all during winter break, but that's a consideration to take into.
Matt,
It sounds like we're looking for a special meeting for a first meeting. And then after the 19th, we would return back to our Mondays at the 3:30 to or whatever.
I do want to clarify for typical rules of order that this would not be considered a special meeting. This would be a regular meeting. It's just scheduled out of the
Yeah.
schedule. It's not a special meeting.
That's fair.
It's still a regular meeting, scheduled way ahead of time. So is there a proposition for us to have a regular meeting before the 19th? Or before or after the 19th? Susanna,
We could try Wednesday since that was the other availability and it's gonna be the only Wednesday that we stay later from 5, was it 5:30 to 7:30?
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I also want to note that the week before classes are not in session, so if we wanted to meet on that Friday, I believe Faye would not have the non-availability. And so if we wanted to meet from 3 to 5 on that Friday, one business day earlier, I think that is available. I'm not going to motion for it, but
Friday, the
23rd?
16th.
the week before.
Oh, okay.
Just like the one business day before. Okay, do I have a motion or a hand for discussion? Faye?
I was gonna motion that we meet on Friday, the 16th. Let's go from this 3 to 5, because I'm putting forward the motion. I was gonna ask if people had a different time in mind.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'd second that.
Is there any opposition to that motion?
Me and Will seconded.
Welcome Week is this.
Oh, before we vote on that motion, Faye and I'll call Will as the person who seconded it. Would you amend that motion to say motion to meet on the 16th and not the 19th so that it cancels our 19th meeting?
Yes, I will motion to meet on the 16th from 3 to 5 instead of meeting on the 19th.
Wonderful. Will? Wonderful. Any opposition to that motion? 2 in opposition, that passes. Wonderful. We will be meeting on the 16th from 3 to 5 p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, I seconded it. 30 opposition. Being none, then this motion is adjourned.